I didn't think it was possible, but we just turned terrain into nations. So all the deserts of the world are teaming up against basic land, forests, hills, and then I've included tundra up here. Tundra was not a part of the initial mod. It felt really weird. Technically, tundra it can be considered desert, but I really wanted to see some tundra. I feel like tundra just got super nerfed because we don't have Antarctica also on the map. I found this to be a pretty interesting mod. I would like to go even more in depth in the future by dividing up all the different famous forests and deserts one day, but for now, let's have all the terrain team up just like this mod has it. Now, technically, basic land has the most terrain and the most land on this world. It doesn't necessarily mean that desert and forests are screwed because it's all going to depend on the alliances. What terrain is going to ally to what terrain? Sounds so stupid, but I am kind of curious what is going to happen, especially considering the World War Simulator has some crazy results when you have these weird enclaves all around the world, and obviously every single nation has weird enclaves literally all around the world. I'm kind of rooting for hills. They just have such a monumental feat ahead of them in order to win this game, and also they're being kind of nerfed because they're right next to obviously mountains. Hills and mountains go side by side. I want to see the mountains do good. It's interesting that for basic land, their capital city appears to be, well, Bratislava for whatever reason. Is that where the most basic land comes from? Meanwhile, the capital of deserts is here in, is this Kyrgyzstan or Tajikistan? Hills have put in their capital here in Ankara, Turkey. Finally, for forests, it's actually Bangladesh. It's Dhaka here. I don't really know why. I mean, you got to put this stuff somewhere, right? Now, those capitals are probably going to move as they continue to, each nation begins to lose, obviously, pixels and things like that. And yes, this is going to go match exactly with the terrain map mode. This is exactly the way we're going to see. So what terrain gives the AI the most benefits in World War Simulator? That's what we're going to find out today. Starting off with no wars, there are no current puppets right now, and of course there are no alliances at the moment. So let's watch as the terrain grows across into the ocean. This is so weird. We're literally seeing terrain. I mean, is this like land expanding? Basic land is, okay, we already have our first war, and it's multiple people versus deserts. Actually, wait, it's not multiple people. I'm just getting confused. It's basic land versus desert. So they always talk about how desert is beginning to take over the earth because it's getting hotter. So specifically around the horizon, the equator, I mean, the desert is expanding here in Africa. In fact, the African nations have made what is known as the Green Wall, like a heavily forested, planted trees and things like that, to stop the desert from continuing to grow further south. So that's literally what we're going to find out here today. Who is at war? Now we have hills declaring war on deserts too, so immediately deserts have found themselves in a two-way battle. Now deserts needs to either ally to forests or deserts needs to, well, defeat hills. Deserts has a huge foothold here in Australia, which is going to help them out, I think, unless they run out of money, which they might be losing money right now. Forests and hills have actually formed an alliance. Oh, look at hills get bigger as the deserts begin to lose. So that's actually a pretty big move here for forests and hills because they have some of the lowest amount of pixels on the earth. I mean, basic land was number one, then deserts, I believe. Are all the deserts of the world literally going to get defeated right now? Tundra has formed an alliance with deserts. That's like literally the most perfect friendship I can imagine because like I said at the very beginning, technically this is desert. There's known as dry deserts, and wait, what's the other thing? There's cold deserts and hot deserts, but they're all deserts. So I'm glad to see these two working together, although deserts might literally die right now. We're actually losing a lot of the arid climate here. Very luckily for deserts, they got out of the war with basic land, but they are still fighting hills. This is hills' opportunity to possibly grow a little bit, and they are in fact growing, although tundra was giving some money away. The problem for tundra is they really do not have enough pixels over here. One thing I like about this mod is it did include a lot of the cities, like, I mean, big cities, London, Paris, Brussels, Luxembourg. So we will be able to see like how these cities are impacted by whatever terrain is taking over. Now, of course, the terrain map mode will be changing as the different terrain countries themselves grow and get smaller and things like that. So this world is actually being taken over. Wait, basic lands just joined the Operation Tundra. Basic land actually just allied to deserts and tundra. Oh, wow. So they're not a fan of the hills and forests. That's what's going to make this scenario so interesting is there's 5 nations on the map, which means that there's never really going to be something too even unless there's 2 big nations that form an alliance versus 3 smaller ones. Oh, are the deserts making a comeback? Look at this. There are the deserts of Kazakhstan, they're actually regaining some of the land. Wow, there's a lot more hills now in this world. They've expanded here in modern day Morocco and Algeria. They've expanded outward from kind of modern day Iran and China. You can literally see where hills started off with, like under the surface. This is the actual terrain versus what they control now. So a lot of Idaho and Montana and Nevada, they became even more hilly apparently. Will we see the Appalachian Mountains grow? This is the oldest mountain range, or some of the oldest mountains in the entire world. That's why why they're so flat and round and rolly. What's the next war? Oh my goodness, that's a big war. I'm guessing literally everyone just went to a war with each other. Yes. So Operation Tundra is now fighting Dhaka Syndicate. That makes me... Why are the hills and forests forming a syndicate? Are they communists? I knew the hills were communist. This seems like a pretty one-sided battle. This is literally a giant world war. Is the terrain so aggressive? Deserts declared war on forests. Is that how World War III just broke out? What small pockets will be destroyed the first? See, oh, okay, forests just ran out of money. That is a big problem. Okay, are we gonna lose forests first? Forests and hills taking a massive L here. I mean, the best thing they can hope for is they don't get completely destroyed. That's gonna be their biggest issue. Is the Amazon rainforest gonna get destroyed? Well, the forests are being eliminated from North America as we speak, from South America as we speak. They're not even in Africa anymore. They've been completely burned down in the Congo. Even in Indonesia, they're losing. We're losing forests in the Philippines. We're losing forests out here in Russia. The forests are declining heavily in Nordic territory. Okay, so forests do still exist, but just barely. Forests and hills. This is looking horrible. You guys should just unify at this point. Foresty hills, they kind of go hand in hand. Hills have been completely eliminated from North America as well as South America, except for the very, very south part of South America. Okay, the alliances are going to have to change because now it's getting really one-sided. Statistically speaking, Basic Land is absolutely running away with it. We cannot see Basic Land win this. That's way too basic. Basically, everyone's going to have to form a coalition against Basic Land, I think, which Desert's got to get involved, Tundra's got to get involved. Now, revolts are on, so we could see certain cities hate certain terrain and be like, no, I want my desert back, or no, I want my inhospitable land back. Oh, that doesn't seem to be the case. Literally, they're going for the throat here. Basic Land is trying to literally kill forests as well as hills at the very same time. Luckily, hills does have a natural wall, a natural defense to hide themselves. Oh, the forests are dead. All forests are already gone. Now hills are having to hide in the Arabian Peninsula, in Iran, and then here in Western China. I don't know how the hills are actually still fighting. This is actually a miracle. The problem is that Basic Land doesn't have much more gold either. Oh, there's going to be a revolt, isn't there? My computer just... Oh my goodness. Holy crap. All right. Well, we've got a lot of comebacks. Forests have now just revived. They've re-revived in the deep south. Hills are back. Look at how much the terrain has changed. What the hell is even this? Okay, so there's a bunch of cities that just got their independence. They're now revolting away from the terrain countries. Madrid is one that's included. Basic Land just took a huge L here. Will the terrain be able to come back? Now, Basic Land and Deserts and Tundra are all working together still. The Deserts and Tundra did not lose it. Oh, the alliance just broke down. So a bunch of cities are now free, which is going to be a massive problem. Yeah, Basic Land just got too big too fast, it appears. We also have a bunch of independent cities in Central America as well. So again, they're all cities. So Panama City, we've got San Jose. Are these accurate city flags? No way. That'd be absolutely insane. No, that looks like an Islamic flag, an Islamic Nordic flag, if anything. So Basic Land's going to have to start to eat away at this again. I still think Basic Land is the winner here. Oh, Bangkok got their independence. Phnom Penh from Cambodia. We got a big old Manila nation that's reaching down into Borneo. What city is this? Dili? Yeah, Australia's lost some things as well. So people are fighting the desert. Funny enough, the terrain is allying to some of the new city-states that have just... Oh my gosh, let's see Hills go. Hills have almost kicked out the deserts from the US. Why am I living in a desert now in LA? What the hell's up with that? Interestingly, this map did not include a whole lot of cities in North and South America. Well, actually just North America specifically, but there's a ton here in Europe. Look at Reykjavik go. Wow, Iceland. I think I just butchered that pronunciation, to be honest. Yeah, Basic Land has no money right now. I think they might have been spreading themselves out a little bit too thinly. Basic Land still has a lot of China to protect themselves in. Look how huge Dhaka just became. So we now are starting off with 61 nations. We started off this map with 5. Now we're at 61, incredibly. Basic Land is still out ahead. Then it's desert, then it's tundra, then it's hills, and the biggest city is actually Beshik, which is, what is this again? This is in Central Asia. Tajikistan, they're actually allied to some of the, of course, oh wait, no, they're actually allied to deserts. And this Icelandic city getting thicker and thicker inside of Europe. Whoa, look at Hills go. Hills getting a huge jump off. There's literally mountains growing from flat land. The flattest lands ever, literally Kansas. Just imagine like Mount Everest spawning out of Kansas. Horrific. We've got deserts up here in Alaska. Literally, Basic Land is about to completely get kicked out of North America at any second because Basic Land is making no economic benefits. There's no money right here. And it is official. Basic Land has been completely kicked out of this continent. It is mostly controlled by hills in North America. Basic Land is still in a large portion of, well, I guess this is just Brazil. Hills have kind of left a lot of Chile. Oh, La Paz is here. Lima. Man, I won't have to pronounce that one. Georgetown. Is that the same Georgetown as the Kool-Aid man? Don't drink the Kool-Aid over there. Just don't drink any liquids over there. Deserts actually have taken over a majority of Africa, I think, at this point. Also, majority of a lot of the world. This is getting so chaotic. We're down to 59 nations, so we've already killed 2. Deserts is now the #1 terrain country. Basic land is still in second, but they're essentially tied with just tundra up here. Tundra is actually in a pretty nice location because they're nice and defensible over this way. I love that Central America still looks like Central America. It's just the cities themselves, nothing else. Basically the capitals. A lot of different interesting things happening here. Wow, so the Haitian capital is expanding very nice. I like these random flags that were generated though. All right, deserts, it is your game now. The thing about deserts is they have a really nice foothold in Australia that's going to keep them safe. That's at the corner of the map, although we are using a looping map. Oh, deserts have finally backstabbed tundra. Bro, you guys are literally brothers. I guess to be fair, it's literally this city that's taken on a lot of tundra. Deserts are trying to eliminate the next biggest terrain country, which is, well, I guess it's tundra, but also basic land. Forests have still a pretty strong foothold in the deep south, all the way from Florida. Man, again, I really want this mod to be expanded upon. I want like a Brazilian forest nation. I want the Sahara Desert. I want, what was the other one I was thinking of? The Appalachian Mountains. I kind of want like mountain ranges to be their own thing too. Like, I don't even want to cut off the mountains. There's a couple of African cities that are having some trouble. It's just because they spawned a lot smaller on the map. Oh, Ethiopia getting big. Now the deserts here, the deserts are still using their capital. It's still in Central Asia, which is not the best spot to be honest. That's not really where you want to be. Bangladesh is basically this world's India. India from Myanmar. It's kind of crazy. Basic land still controls a part of Sri Lanka. Yeah, one thing I really like about deserts ultimately, even if they do get pushed out of several little components, little areas, they do still have Australia, although they are beginning to lose more and more of that land. I like that hills are literally just coordinating inside. Why does hills look like that? Are there 2 hills nations? It looks like there's 2. Is there 2? Oh, it looks like, why is this brown again? What does that mean? You guys, there's a guarantee, or no, the hills, oh, hills revolted away from basic land. That's right. We have hills 1, but is there going to be a hills 2? That's what this font reminds me of. Oh, what I was going to say, the other terrain type, I feel like we could have used swamps and like, quicksand. That is not a terrain. That is definitely, there's not enough quicksand in the world, but there's more terrain. Why not include the nether? We're down to 47 nations left on this map. Europe is completely controlled. Oh, Sarajevo. Just don't shoot any archdukes in this country, please. We're already dealing with enough world wars in this simulator. Tundra has looking pretty much completely untouched. They've lost a little bit of land, but really not much. I think they're looking pretty good up here. Whereas deserts is kind of compacted in the middle. I mean, they got a corner down here in Chile and Argentina. They got a corner in Australia. A lot of this other stuff, the center of the map, I don't know if I have much faith in that. Hills could easily push out, what are we looking at? Oh, deserts in North America. My bad. I'm getting confused. Besides Florida, though, where else could you put swamps at? I mean, parts of Brazil, more than likely. Pretty sure Southeast Asia's got swamps. I think mountains and hills should be separated. Now, obviously, if we take a look at the terrain map mode, things are drastically different. I mean, for the most part, deserts haven't really moved all that much here in the... What the hell? What? Okay, is that a unification or is that's just an alliance, I think? So we have deserts combining with some of these cities. Some sort of weird frontier has formed up between some of the cities in Central Asia and deserts. Georgetown continues to get bigger and bigger. Their terrain, I don't even know what they're going to be doing with their terrain. I think I'm getting Georgetown and Jamestown confused, but they're similarly located, kind of similarly located. Also, Savannah. We should have the Savannah, but I think the Savannah is just in Africa. So we did just lose a nation. That was one of these cities here in Africa. Besides this one city that popped up in Central Asia, Georgetown is the next biggest country. It's because they control a lot of the former Amazon rainforest. Then it is Baku out of Azerbaijan. When will this alliance break down? This is way too big of a team. I mean, just look at this. This is a crazy team. Also, the Havana's alliance, which has been formed between forests, Havana, and hills. Oh, also the capital of Haiti. I still believe a terrain is going to win this more than likely, but man, these cities are getting more and more powerful. The cities will probably act as nice middle powers to small powers, but ultimately the dub is I think going to go to the terrain. Ankara is still trying their best here. Basic land still controls footholds all around the world, even though the majority of their land still comes out of China, Japan, and the Korean Peninsula. Ooh, basic land with a small comeback. Who is losing all this? That's deserts and also Bishkek, something. Basic land also advancing in southern Brazil and Uruguay. They control Buenos Aires as well. They just officially pieced out. Ethiopia encroaching further and further into deserts lands. I feel like if any land you really don't want, it's got to be deserts, right? I mean, it's like kind of useless. You can kind of do do stuff with hills. If we were actually judging terrain based on its usefulness, I mean, obviously everyone should be attacking basic land right now. How did Jakarta get down here in Perth? How the hell did they manage to do that? Ooh, basic land has a lot of some crucial territory in Australia and all of New Zealand, also Fiji. We just lost another city out here. Bangkok growing slightly into southern China. Whoa, Libreville, which is out of, is this Equatorial Guinea? That's a huge city that just rose up. Georgetown seems to be working with La Paz. Pretty cool AI generated flag right there. Doesn't remind me of Georgetown, but okay. Not that I've ever been there before, but I'm just saying. Hills has, it's literally just 3 terrains now. It's forests, it's hills. Oh, actually, Hills is trying to fight here in Siberia against, I believe this is basic land. Ooh, they're really trying to crush down this alliance just because this team was looking so powerful. Madrid is still growing, I think. I don't think they're growing all that much, actually, but I'm sure they would love to kick out basic lands from Lisbon. Ooh, here goes Tundra once again. Havana Realm. Havana Realm has formed between hills and forests. I'm thinking of civilization. You know, the nice thing about hills and forests is you get a lot of production from hills and forests. Basic land is just good for farmland. Deserts, nothing, unless you build the Petra. Sarajevo is still going all the way from southern Italy to parts of, I think they got to Monaco, and they're stretched all the way up here to the Arctic Circle. There's 32 nations left, and the Havana Realm is actually, well, they were making more gains from Georgetown, but not anymore. Basic land expanding from Madagascar as well. They had 1 foothold. Deserts have grabbed more land in Australia. This is going to be a clear battle to the death. There's 30 nations left. Here's the alliance map mode. Alliances are changing quite drastically every single day. We've got Ankara's League. We got Mexico City's League. Wait, Mexico City was here. And the Treaty of La Paz. We do have puppets out of basic land. Okay, you know, I think basic land is beginning to make a little bit of a comeback because they are beginning to puppet some of those old cities that revolted away from them. It's actually, no, it's still deserts and this city. Wait, did you guys form a union? Oh, I think they just formed a union. Yeah, deserts actually doesn't even exist. They united with this city. Oh, and now they just puppeted Ankara. Is that going to count for a desert victory if they win here? I don't know. I don't think so. But man, deserts have really taken over. Basic land's on the comeback though. So is hills. So is tundra. There's actually puppets happening all around the world right now. A lot of people have puppets, at least a little bit. We got wars in Georgetown in South America. We got wars in Europe. We got wars in Asia. Oh my goodness, is our deserts going to take over the entire world here? I think they're the greater partner because they kept their own color, I think. Wasn't this their former capital too? I think it was their former capital. So even though they have a different name, this is still desert taking it over. All right, so Sarajevo's gone. It's now the only European city is from Iceland because Madrid's gone too. Oh, Ankara more than likely is going to get annexed because they're a puppet. Jakarta trying their best. They're still fighting from Perth. Libreville as well, but they are fighting the Ethiopian city and basic land at the very same time. Oh, Ethiopia was puppeted. Basic land's beginning to get a lot of these cities that revolted away from them. Oh yeah, there's a lot of puppet seizing happening this way. Ooh, Ethiopia just got really big. Oh, and they actually revolted away from basic land. That's a big loss because they were giving a lot of money to basic land to continue to fuel these wars. Because remember, basic land is still fighting wars in, well, I think it is 6 out of the 7. Well, 1 continent isn't even here. They're just not in North America, but they're fighting in all the other continents. That's a better way to put it. They somehow managed to keep a lot of their footholds, which is absolutely huge, to be honest. Deserts making gains in Georgetown. Tashkent frontier continues to be basically this world's Mongolian empire, stretching from, well, Mongolia to Europe to the southern parts of this. Looks still kind of deserty. They still control a lot of desert lands, to be honest. I would say it's still pretty accurate territory. Oh my goodness, here comes Tundra finally. Oh, they pieced out. I kind of hope I was going to hope they were going to get a little bit more. They're allied to just Dhaka over here. Now Tundra's going on after basic land. Does Tundra have the gold for this? That's the thing. Tundra's looking pretty good. They're getting a lot of that Siberian wilderness. There goes the fall of basic land. Oh, they're losing a lot here. How much are they going to lose? Are they going to get kicked out of South America? No, they're not getting kicked out of South America. That's the thing, though. They've got to lose these footholds to really do an ultimate blow. Because they can join into wars and then like start off with 6 combat efficiency and easily regain land like on the really fast. On a dime, I think that's what I was trying to say. Dhaka's trying to fight basic land to regain their independence because they were briefly puppeted. Tundra's actually gotten kicked out of all of Canada. They just exist in Greenland. Hills are still causing problems over here for all the terrain types. Basic land again, fighting the Tashkent frontier, but ultimately, boom, they just got kicked out of Japan, so that's huge. I think they just got kicked out of Asia. Luckily, they will still have this foothold here in China. Oh, they still have Sri Lanka. Okay, do not count out basic land yet. They look really weak. Oh, and they just allied to Tundra. Maybe that'll save them? I doubt it, but it is possible. Dhaka just got puppeted by Tashkent. Basic land is actually dead. They actually just got completely annexed. Phnom Penh is trying to fight they're trying to fight as best they can. Jakarta barely somehow still survives. Uh-oh, you guys might have been running out of gold, huh? Oh, they're not running out of gold. They just suck at fighting right now. Is the city really going to win this, or is it going to be the desert? I mean, I guess this would technically count as a city win if they win. Jakarta is finally gone. Dili's still fight. Wait, Dili started from like Indonesia, right? They're up here in Taiwan now. Mexico City realm, they have not formed a complete thing yet. Oh, I guess they're called Mexico City because Hills moved their capital to Mexico City. That is a very like famously known city for Hills. You're at 0 economy. That's not good. Oh my gosh, look at as tundra expands drastically. Oh, with Phnom Penh as well. That is a lot of tundra. Are we going to experience another ice age up here? Hills have taken over forest. It is now just hill territory. The problem is Hills has no money. And a lot of this is getting taken over by the Haitian capital. Whoa, deserts, what is going on? Now, they still have footholds all around the world in most of the continents, except, of course, the outlier has been North America. There's 13 nations left. Phnom Penh getting massive. The problem is Dili. Oh, Dili just died, actually. My goodness, forests, deserts, what the heck happened? They were in the middle of the map. Maybe they got involved in way too many wars, and they are dead. Look at tundra take over. Funny enough, it looks like Hills and Tundra are kind of... Oh, wait, no, they're actually fighting. I was going to say, okay, so maybe the two last terrains are not working together. I thought they were. It's just Tundra and Hills. Okay, this is way too big of a team. That is not even a fair team. Did Iceland somehow just come back? United Kampala. Where's Kampala at? Oh, damn, Hills. Whoa, Hills is going wild. Oh, you just puppeted Tundra. Oh, and you're seizing land. Did you puppet Georgetown too? They're puppet seizing like hella right now. Phnom Penh just exists in Australia, but they put their capital here in Jakarta. There's so much brown. Georgetown's gonna have to backstab Hills as best they can. Hills is slowly annexing Tundra. We are not going to see another ice age. I thought that was going to be a funny joke. If Tundra did win, we'd see an ice age. Okay, they're almost completely gone now. And there was one left. I did not expect Hills. They did not start off that good. I was kind of rooting for the snowball to take over. I thought Tundra was just going to eliminate everything, but it's actually Hills. What geological event could cause this? Like a bunch of earthquakes, making a bunch of plates rise up? I don't know. Just weird hills popping up everywhere? That'd be kind of freaky. Big thanks to my patrons this month. If you want your name here, check that Patreon link in the description down below. Never change Drew unless you want to. We need a Drew bobblehead figurine. Petition for Drew
Alexander
to make
the Terrible,
ASMR
Connor
Tingles
Pavlik,
version 2. Frederick Tiblin,
King
Bear Hayes,
Lord Track,
Luxembourg Lover, Miglu the Goat, Nolan, Nord Tyrol, Tambrin,
and William.